You are now listening to the LOWBAT podcast,
a weekly show highlighting members of our local creative community and featuring topical conversations with members of the LOWBAT production team. We're your hosts, Casey House
and Fabian Castaneda. Through our own experiences as musicians, visual artists, and business owners, we saw an opportunity to provide a platform for people just like us to deep dive into what it's like to pursue a lifestyle outside of the norm.
Without further ado, welcome to the LOWBAT podcast.
Yo, yo, yo! What's up, everybody? LOWBAT podcast. I'm here for the first time.
That was so much more energetic than I thought. You said, I said like yo, yo, yo. Not all of that. That was so much better.
Thank you. Worked on it a long time, a year now. Practice.
You've been doing the podcast for a year?
Yeah.
Did you start off
really?
saying yo, yo, yo?
Yeah, I did it on the first episode. Me and Mike were sitting down. I was like, all right, what do I say? He was like, I don't know, dog. I was like, you want to start it? He was like, nope.
Dude, why do you think I asked you to start it? It's awful. It's so uncomfortable. For anybody out there who doesn't do a podcast, it's the worst part is the first 10 seconds of introduction because it's really uncomfortable.
It is.
You ready to fight through this with me? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the LOWBAT podcast.
I was ready for you to say yo.
Well, for us, yo is like a Cinna thing.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, shouts out Cinna. Have Jimmy Bacon here from the Hermit Style podcast.
homie.
And also somebody who just did a Hermit Style tournament, which I was not here for most of it, admittedly. But Tyler, you were here for a good amount of it, right?
I did. I should say. Really, the two shining stars of the whole thing were Ethan and Duncan, because I swear it was for the first hour and a half, it was just, why isn't this working?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to fight AV issues.
It was rough.
We just couldn't
It was
understand.
rough.
Oh, shit. But they got it, thow. They got it.
We were only down for one round. It's just one round we were down for. And
Is it really only the first
It
round?
was only the first round.
Oh,
yeah.
sick. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Everything else was good to go.
See, but yeah, that was really fun. How did your viewers enjoy?
People loved it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, people loved it. People in the chat were saying yo, Bandai, hit up LOWBAT.
Oh.
You need to do all their tournaments because you're blowing everyone away. Yeah, no, it was sick.
Bandai. You're listening, of course.
Hey, they might be, bro. They might
Also,
be.
if Konami is listening, if we could just do a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
So I want to
LOWBAT is being rebranded.
I want to kind of put out there that so the Hermit Style podcast is based on a Dragon Ball Z card game,
Yeah.
of which I don't actually know the name. What's the official name of the card game?
It's the Dragon Ball Super card game.
Dragon Ball Super card game. I don't play any trading card games or tournament games. When I was really little, I did I went to a couple Pokemon tournaments. Immediately got confused by the coin flipping and using energy cards and shit, so I moved on. Tyler, I know you actually have interest in card games like that, and you know a little bit about tournaments, and then obviously you know a lot. So I want to hear about how that world works. As imagine I'm 6 years old, and I'm how does it work? I want to learn all about it. Whoever wants to take that.
So first thing you do is you get at least $1,000, and you buy all the really good cards, and then it doesn't really matter what you do, because you can just go to the tournament.
Can you just buy? Well, I guess with Dragon Ball Z, they come as set decks, right?
No.
So they're
So-
decks, and they're
Yeah,
decks
so
and stuff.
basically what it is you have sets release. Most games, pretty average is 3 months. So every 3 months you have a new set where anywhere from, games are all different. I'd say 100 to 200 new cards get introduced.
Okay.
About every 3 months, and then you can buy booster boxes. And the booster boxes have the packs in them, and then there's all these different rarities of cards. And you can pull the cards or by buying a lot of product, or you can get the cards online.
So can you, besides off of a third party, can you buy specific cards?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you the most common place to buy is tcgplayer.com, and they have just most popular card games. You can pretty much buy a single of any card.
Okay, interesting. So you can actually if you have the money and the time to find who has it, you can build the specific deck you want.
Oh yeah, like
Whoa,
anyone who plays competitively, like finding the card, that's almost never an issue unless you need a card for like a tournament the next day when the card came out like a day before. Then you might have trouble finding, but you can always find the card. Like people who like really play, finding the card is not an issue, and like the pay to win kind of thing that isn't really real in Dragon Ball. In other card games, it is. With Dragon Ball, there's a skill cap. So like you can go and buy every best card in the game and just suck and just go like
Because it's
not everyone
really is
again.
how you play.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so like I did watch a fair amount of the tournament, and I know more on how to play the game from watching that.
Yeah, it's very different from every
figure
other
it
card
out.
game I've played. It seems like it rolls very different. But also, one quick question: are you allowed to like I don't know if they call this anything like mock or like sub cards, where it's just like, hey, I don't like I bought this card and it's like on the way or something, so I'm just gonna have like this token. It's like, no, you can't do that. Okay.
No, you can't do. I mean, not in like official tournaments. Like if you're at like a local event that's like just whatever, you're paying like $5-10 to enter. A lot of times people don't care, but even then, I think it's unless your local community is like really tight, you don't want to get into a position where like you're playing against someone you've never met and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna play this, and they're like, what's that? And it's like, oh, this card that beats you, and I'm like, well, bro, you can't just make
don't
up
have
that
the
that's the
card.
card, like. Yeah.
So, like this is my blank card. And
Yeah.
it's anything that I need
right,
to be.
right. My whole deck is blank cards.
Just
Don't
place
worry,
it-
I know what they are.
New meta.
So how did you find this game and decide like were you playing other games
Yeah.
before that?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Name one card game you don't play or haven't played.
See that's
I've played
that's
those.
faster,
world I know
honestly.
nothing.
Yeah, I've at least been introduced to most of the popular card games.
Okay.
But that's since I was a little kid. Like when I was like in grade school, like kindergarten or first grade, my parents bought me a Charizard as a present.
Wow.
And it's
Hell yeah.
Good gift.
and like it was
You still have it?
Starter.
no, I don't have it. I wish I had it, but it's okay. No one knew. Like,
Yeah.
you can't
No,
even
that's
think
fair.
about it. Like,
No one knew.
that's
You're right.
literally why. That's part of the reason why. Like, if everyone knew back then, you know how many Charizards there'd be?
Yeah, that's
There'd be
fair.
so many. But the problem is that 80% of them went in the hands of 6-year-olds that bent them, ripped them, played with them. Like, you don't play with that card. You put it in a safe, my guy.
You
Like,
put it in a case and another case in a safe.
yeah. But yeah. So like, I've always been into card games since I was like really little. When I didn't even know what a card game was, I was just like, oh, these are cool. And then as I got older, I got into like Yu-Gi-Oh. Played Yu-Gi-Oh a lot when I was a kid, and then got a little competitive with that. And then I ended up really diving deep when I was an adult. Probably like, I don't remember, maybe in like probably like early on in college. Found about this game called The Spoils.
Never heard of that.
Tyler knows.
What a fucking era that was.
Yeah.
What's
Dude.
Tyler and I have been friends for a very long time, so he knows about this.
what's the spoil?
So I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was pretty much made by like 2 people or a small group of people, and like you had like all these statues that go with it. The main thing is that there was like 6 factions, I believe it was 6 factions in this universe, and it was just a card game about like how the factions like take over one another, essentially. But like I can't really describe how the card game plays out.
Yeah, kind of.
That's fair.
It's like, I don't know if you're familiar at all with like Magic the Gathering
Nope.
at all.
It was a lot like Magic in that
but-
sense, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was made by a team of people who were pro Magic players, and they didn't like the resource system in the game. Basically, with a card game, when you have a card in your hand, it's going to cost you resources to play it. So like,
Okay.
like if you've ever played like any of Ethan's million board games, some of them are resource based.
Yeah.
You know, like, so like if you want to play something, you have to like pay a cost. And in Magic, there's a lot of people get screwed by the resource system.
Yeah.
So this team of pro Magic players basically try to say, okay, we want to make a similar game but improve it.
Yeah.
So the Spoils, basically they took everything they liked from Magic and then changed everything they didn't like and then made this new
Cool.
game.
Wow.
Yeah. Sadly, the game isn't anymore, but it was around for like,
It was a couple years. A few
no, it
years.
was like 10 years.
Was it? Wow.
that game.
Okay.
I was late on it, actually. I think
Oh.
it came out in like 2006, I want to say. It probably came out.
What?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, but I got real into that. I ended up traveling like all over the country for events, and I actually ended up helping this team, like the Spoils team. They would fly me to these different cities. And I would, they would fly me to like big tournaments or like a big convention. And it was my job to basically gain interest.
Okay.
So I would find these people playing in a different card game and be like, hey, do you want to learn how to play the spoils? And then what would happen is the day after their event, we would have a big event. So I'd be like, hey, we have this event. If you want, you can play in it. I can get you started. And then that was kind of how we promoted the game from within the card game community.
Guerrilla marketing, like get in their face and be just like,
yeah, it was kind of funny. Or
hey, you like card games? You like this one?
Yeah. Or like if people weren't doing good, like usually card games are Swiss tournaments. So it's Swiss format where you continue to play throughout the whole day and you get X amount of points for winning or X amount of points for losing. And then at the end of the day, there's, your ranking. So I would, towards the end of the day, be like, hey man, like, you're not looking so hot, bro. Like, you like X and 3 right now? He'd be like, yeah, not going to make day 2. I'm like, well, if you do want to play something day 2, I got a game for you, But then,
man, that's sales brand. That's awesome.
Yeah. But anyways, the Spoils was a phenomenal game. I competed in it all the time, played it all the time. And then when it eventually died off, I was talking to one of the higher ups of the game, and I was like, he had just went to a big convention called Gen Con. And I was like, hey, were there any like new card games out? I want to get into something. And he goes, check out Dragon Ball. And I was like, I love Dragon Ball. So there's a Dragon Ball game. That was it. That was all it needed for me to hop in.
I was curious about your like so you've watched the series like since
you
were a kid and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was just agreeing that.
Okay.
Sick.
I've always been in Dragon Ball since I was a little kid. So
I was like super into it until after, and it was like the second coming of the show because of like my age and everything. It was like early 2000s, but I probably stopped after the Boo saga.
Okay. Boo saga was like the end of DBZ.
Yeah.
You just didn't watch Super.
Yeah, I haven't watched any
or
Super.
GT.
I tried to watch GT.
I
honestly
I like how you just skip the Super. You're like, GT doesn't exist. Fuck this.
Isn't it not canon?
It's not canon. All right, GT I think is kind of cool though. Like I think SS4, that's a sweet transformation.
So I agree completely. I understand the issues,
but it's not real.
I understand the issues with GT, and it's like a very different pacing. It's like the ODST of Dragon Ball Z.
That's a pull.
Oh, you really?
No, I don't. I'm not saying I don't like disagree. I agree with you, but like I would never have thought of it like that.
It's the mood shift. It was very like dark and like it just completely changed a lot of the fundamentals of what made Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball for that matter. But like I really liked the mood shift actually. When I haven't watched it in forever, but when I was watching it, like I was like I really like how much like more adult and intense this feels versus like pandering to them like charging up all the moves and everything. It felt very like a lot faster paced, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then whenever I saw Super Saiyan 4, I was like, whoa, what? It's this is so different.
Sick. Yeah.
Like it completely changed everything.
Yeah.
But like I haven't watched any so all right, here's my issue. I was getting into the movies a bit, which I know the movies are also not canon. I think that's probably gonna come through the mic. Y'all are fine. Y'all can come in. The squeak of the door probably came through the mic. But I don't care. I was watching a bunch of the movies and like I really like the Broly one, like the initial one. I think there's 2 or 3.
Oh yeah, the old Broly movie. Yeah.
And then
it's a cool movie.
Eventually, Battle of the Gods came out, and I was like, okay, let me see what this is about. And Beerus and the guy who is his watcher, what's his name?
Whis.
In my opinion, ruined Dragon Ball Z.
What?
Here's why.
That's a hot take.
Here's why.
That movie wasn't that great, though. So you may have just gotten a bad.
Well, but like the science behind it. Here's why. So all right, we'll get more to the card game in a bit, but I really want to like break down the Dragon Ball Z lore a little bit. So I watched that and I was like, okay. So the story has always been new enemy shows up. They're like aggressively powerful, but you can overcome, and Goku finds a way. Is like the most simple breakdown version of how a lot of that stuff has gone. Either it's Goku or somebody figures it out. Beerus shows up. They fight. It's like kind of a joke while they're fighting. They're like almost training with each other. And then the end of that movie, spoiler, I guess, even though it's a really old movie at this point, Beerus and what was his name again?
Whis.
Whis go back to wherever their home is.
Yeah.
And you learn that Beerus, one, used 25% of his power, and Whis like snapped his finger and almost killed Beerus to put him to sleep so he would shut up. And I was like, nope. Goku,
he's a god.
Goku just became a Super Saiyan god, which is something that they say is like not been seen forever, or literally ever. It's a myth.
Yeah.
And then there's these two people where one of them can kill Goku by looking at him differently, and a guy can kill that guy by looking at him differently. I immediately was just like, it's gone too far.
No.
That's
See,
too
here's the
far
thing,
gone.
Beerus, who actually we just got 2 new cats, and one of them we named Beerus.
At least you got the name.
Yeah.
God damn it.
But Beerus is a god of destruction, right? So he should be able to blow up anything instantly. He's a god. He's not immortal, right? Goku is not a god. Like, his form is Super Saiyan God, but he's not a god. And Whis is like Beerus's like watcher. Whis is an angel. So like Whis is supposed to oversee Beerus, basically. So their powers are supposed to be extraordinary because they keep order in the universe by like just Beerus basically destroys things when they need to be destroyed, and Whis keeps them in check.
Okay. But why I'm trying to think about like why introduce that to the world. I guess that's why their battle wasn't.
Well, you got to watch
angry.
Super. You got to watch Super.
Okay, so it breaks it down a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh, like Super, they're heavily involved. They're main characters in
Really?
Super. Yeah,
Yeah.
Throughout the whole show.
Okay.
Also, Casey, like you got to realize that like Akira Toriyama, the author of like the entire like Dragon Ball series, he doesn't know what he's done. Like,
Yeah, he does forget about a lot
like
of stuff.
70% of the time.
He's notorious for forgetting about things. He's done.
Really?
Yeah.
There are like
It's pretty
multiple
funny.
times where like he's had like an interview with like another like manga author that's like looked up to him for like years, and he goes like, "Oh man, I really loved when this thing happened." He's just like, "I did that. All right, cool, sick."
Yeah, he forgot about like a fairly like pivotal character launch. He just like it was like Master Roshi, who for my Hermit style stuff, that's what all my stuff is branded around is Master Roshi. But Master Roshi, who basically trained Goku when he was a kid, had this girl that lived with him launch, and she was in like a lot of episodes of OG Dragon Ball. And then like she just wasn't in Dragon Ball Z, and everyone never knew the reasoning, and he was just like, "Oh, I forgot." Just straight up like, I forgot about her.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, I would understand now because like Dragon Ball, you said it came out in 86.
Yeah.
And we're in 2021 and Super is still being made.
Yeah, Super. They just released a trailer for a new movie.
And that's still him, right?
Yeah, he still oversees everything. Yeah,
So of course he's gonna forget stuff.
or at least most of the stuff that comes out.
That's like 30 years or whatever. That's a long time.
That's true.
But like Launch was like right, like in the
Yeah.
He was in like the OG Dragon Ball.
Well, yeah, exactly. I feel like that's why you would forget. Granted, it went from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Like
So,
yeah. She just was never in.
There's
Dragon
a lot.
Ball
There's
Z.
a lot of characters in Dragon Ball.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Dragon Ball Z
Oh, yeah.
and all that. Like I haven't seen all of Dragon Ball. I watched a good amount of it. Dragon Ball Z was the one that like I got into or whatever.
Yeah.
And where can I watch Super? It's on something, right?
I watch on the Funimation app. It's like $5 a month.
I should probably watch Super. I've wanted to. I just like after watching that movie, it turned me off. But I don't want to be completely turned off from the
All right.
series.
To be fair, though, that's probably one of my least favorite movies that they've ever made.
Okay.
I did not like that movie at all. So
That makes me feel a little better.
yeah. So what sucks though is they started Dragon Ball Super by going back through the movie in episode form.
So okay. I thought I was crazy. I
No,
eventually
you're
did
not.
try to watch the show and I was like,
I don't know why
click
they
on the
did
movie.
that. That was the one thing I didn't like about Super. It gets a lot better once they get past that.
Well, they probably did that because the movies are notoriously not canon,
Yeah.
and so they were like, "Well, this is canon,
I
so
think
let's put it
I
in
think
the
the
show."
thought was like they're making the movies canon now, but they're trying to. I read somewhere, I don't know. I mean, someone that's like a super Dragon Ball fan can probably fact check me and tell me I'm wrong. But
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. But I don't spend that much time like looking into what's canon or not. But from my understanding is now the movies are canon and they are using the show to show a different perspective. So it's supposed
meaning
to be
the movies
like
are moving forward. The movies are canon.
yeah, that to my knowledge, that's what I've been told. And then when they replay them through the show, you're supposed to see like, okay, that scene happened, but what did that scene look like from this character's perspective? It's like to show different points of view and perspectives that you didn't get in the movie, which is kind of cool, but it was just
cool.
It was just really boring, I thought. I was like, it took too long. I don't know.
So
It
all
gets
right.
better once you get past that. It gets really good.
Okay, I'll find the time eventually.
Just find the episode where Battle of the Gods ended and just start from there. Because you haven't seen the Frieza movie that came after that, right?
Nope.
Yeah, just watch the show because the show goes back to the
and,
Frieza movie. Too.
Like I have such a cynical mind about it now. I saw Frieza and I was like, yeah, okay, he's back. I guess and he's gold now. Cool. Like, but no, actually, I haven't seen the whole movie. I think I just saw their fight scene.
Okay. The Frieza movie's good.
I thought the fight scene was really good, and it probably spoiled a lot of it.
When
really
Frieza's training, there's this like this Russian death metal band that plays. It's actually pretty funny. It comes out of nowhere.
Fuck yeah. All right. So end conversation about Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball as a show. So you found this card game.
Yeah.
What I guess like walk me through where you somebody told you about it. Like, did you go somewhere to see it? Did you look online? Did you just buy it?
Oh yeah, I just bought it. Like my friend was like, yeah, you should check out Dragon Ball, and I was like, okay, bet I'm gonna play Dragon Ball now. And I looked where you get cards, and at the time the game had just come out, and it was like impossible to get cards. They were just, and we still have this issue today with getting new cards sometimes, depending on the set. But it was really bad then because it was brand new, so everyone wanted it.
Yeah.
And they did not expect, I guess, such a positive reaction to the game. And
with an IP like Dragon Ball?
I guess, I don't know, because they clearly didn't print enough. And like, it was to the point where, and I mean, this still, like I said, this still happens, especially with like Pokemon, but you would like find out like when the Target, like your local Target would like restock, and like you would get there like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes before the restock and just be waiting. And like you just be waiting for this dude to come in the aisle to put the product on, so you just buy it all because
it's like a Black Friday sale.
Yeah, it's crazy, and like that still happens regularly with Pokemon. Dragon Ball not so much, but when the game started, it's really difficult. I was like going everywhere. I would drive around to all the Targets probably like once a week, and I just buy every pack I could find.
Oh my god, I know. Like we're in such a weird time right now because like we all grew up with Pokemon trading cards being and Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon, and then like Beyblade being a thing, and like all this.
That one hurt the most.
All this, all
Beyblade's
these like
sick.
Beyblade is sick,
dude.
All these things like and Saturday morning cartoons that like helped lift up that world and
Specifically
all this
Beyblade.
and like the fact that like they seemingly, I don't know if I just got older, but like the popularity seemed to drop a little bit, and now with like NFTs and all this stuff, there's like a whole new world of like people on Twitch opening Pokemon card packs, and like on the the door of Targets, there's like last time I've seen that there's a sign that says
You know
like,
why, right?
2 packs per person or whatever.
You know why?
Because people were probably going and buying all of them.
No, that's not why.
Oh, why?
That's part of it. The real reason was there was too many people trying to buy all of them, so they started fighting in the stores, and some guy pulled a gun
sick.
out.
Oh, not
shit.
sick. All right.
Yo, wait.
He said, "Dog, I need this Charizard."
That became not sick real fast.
Yeah, that's why they did that. But the crazy part is they're so strict about it. Like, if you're a mom with 2 kids and the rule is only 1 pack, they're like, sorry, one of the kids doesn't get a pack. And I'm like, all right, you can definitely let that mom get 2 packs, like one for one kid and one for the other. But
Jesus. Yeah, I just think it's such a weird, like it's really cool and exciting as like somebody who grew up loving Pokemon that like that and these other card games are like experiencing this boost again. Which also I think is like really fascinating that you managed to get into the world publicly in such a good time. So like you bought onto the cards and everything. How long was it until you decided you wanted to like be involved? And was the podcast your first way of being involved, or did you get involved in other ways?
No. So when the game released 4 years ago, and I got into it, I pretty much got involved right away. Like once I got a deck together and I felt like I figured out how to play, I was like, okay, where are tournaments? Where's the local scene? I found a local Facebook group. There at the time there was like 20 of us in it. Now our local Facebook group has like 250 people in it. But
hell yeah.
I just like found a place to play, and there was a local card shop by me. And at the time it was me and 3 other people, and that was it. And we would just all get together and play every weekend. And then eventually it got bigger and bigger, but it was just kind of funny. But yeah, so, and I found all the groups, like there is the Facebook group, and there was like, you have your buy sell groups. So that was how a lot of people were getting cards since you couldn't find them. And even on TCG Player, some of them are hard to find. So you'd have to, at that time, just reach out to people on Facebook, and they would post cards for sale, and you'd be like, yeah, I want that. It's not my favorite thing to do because scamming is a thing.
Oh,
and,
yeah, I'm
like you don't know the people. I got scammed like right off the bat in the game, so that sucked.
That is shit. They just they said they had a card that they didn't have.
No, actually. So I bought a card from a guy and or no, I think we traded. Yeah, I think it was a trade. And he was like, we both like sent the cards, but he like obviously didn't send his.
Oh,
and
man.
I messaged him and I was like, hey, I still haven't got the card. And then he was like, oh, it should come. It should come. It should come.
Damn,
Like,
that's crazy.
it was like, yeah, exactly. That was basically
Yo,
what he
that's
said.
wild.
And like 5 weeks later, I'm like, all right, bro, like USPS is slow. Like I sell a lot of cards. I know they're slow. Sometimes it does take like a month right now through snail mail. But I was like, all right, dog, it's been like 5 weeks and it's still not here. And he just like didn't respond. So I reported him in the group and called him out as a scammer. All of a sudden, he said, hey, man, your card actually got returned to me today. I'm going to send it back out again. I said, oh, that's
I'm
so
sure it did.
convenient.
That's Facebook. Scary place.
Yeah, I will say the Facebook groups are now pretty heavily moderated. So like they kick scammers out real quick.
That's good.
Yeah.
So all right. So you've when did you said you started the podcast?
Started the podcast a little over a year ago.
Okay.
Yep.
What was it about this card game versus all the other ones that you've been into that you wanted to dive into that world?
Although I played a lot of card games, I really only like played like really dove into Yu-Gi-Oh! The Spoils and Dragon Ball.
Okay.
I've had exposure to most card games on the market. Just if I'm at the card shop, someone's like, hey, teach me how to play. You know, I enjoy playing card games. But yeah, I would say, hold on, what was the question again?
What was it about the Dragon Ball game that like made you want to like, make a podcast about it instead of doing like Yu-Gi-Oh! Spoil?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah,
any other card game.
Dragon Ball specifically has a really cool mechanic in there, and I think it is one of the most skill-intensive games that exists.
Okay.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I just don't prefer. I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! A long time ago when the prices got too crazy, but now I just genuinely don't like playing the game.
Interesting.
I tried to like get back into it, and I'm like, this is terrible. It was like a coin flip, and that's basically decides the game. And like you can
one turn kill so many things.
So many different decks can one turn kill. I'm like, this is stupid. Yeah, I don't know. And I didn't like Pokemon because the Pokemon is a deck building game. So it's really a lot of time goes into like building your deck and making sure it's right. But once you play, it's like I personally don't know, so I'm sorry if I'm offending Pokemon players listening, but it seems for the most part, and what I've heard from most of my friends that do play Pokemon competitively, is it's basically you're on autopilot. It's like, I've already built the deck, and now it just goes. It's kind of like those little games where like you set up your little defense system, you know, and like you put everything in place. Game? Yeah, it's kind of like that. You know,
I love those games.
Yeah, well, you might like Pokemon.
I was too young whenever I tried to play it. It got too complicated, like really fast.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like basically once you understand like the mechanics and everything, it's just deck building. That's basically, which is cool. Like some people like that. That's just I like every turn having to like
think about your next.
Yeah, there's different lines of play. I'm thinking about what I can do, what my opponent can do, and they introduced this really cool mechanic, which is combo power that I haven't seen at least in most other card games myself.
Right.
Yeah, and it's basically, and it kind of ties to the theme of Dragon Ball where they like power up. You know?
Okay, that's cool.
So if you attack, I can take cards from my hand and literally just put them on the table, and that powers up my attack. So I can just use my card as essentially a blank resource to boost my attack strength.
Okay. So as somebody who doesn't know how to play the card game at all,
yeah,
do you have the ability? It's gonna be a challenge. Do you have the ability to give like a brief synopsis of like, here's how you play the game?
Yeah, I'll try my best. So
teach me.
All right. So you have a deck.
Got it.
Deck is between 50 and 60 cards.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay.
You can only have up to 4 copies of any single card in your deck. And there is a ban list. So you have to make sure you aren't playing with cards that are banned. There's cards that are limited, so you can only play one of.
Okay.
So you make your deck. When you start the game, you draw. There is a mulligan if you want, but you have your hand. And then you put 8 cards from the top of your deck to start the game face down, and that's your life. If I attack you and you take the hit, if I win the attack, you have to take 1 of your life. Once you go down to 0 life, you lose the game.
Are those cards that are flipped over that are your life, are those regular cards?
Yep, they're just regular cards from your deck. So literally you draw your hand to start the game, and then the next 8 cards from your deck go face down, and those are your life. And then if if the attack goes through and you have to take a life, that card goes to your hand. So it makes this very interesting exchange of, if I want to beat you and kill you in the game as I attack you, I also have to be smart about it because I'm also giving you an additional resource.
Okay. Is the are the decks shuffled? Are they randomized?
Yep. So it's
So
completely
your
randomized.
8 best cards. So I guess if the game doesn't really work that way, but your 8 really solid cards could be your life points at that point.
Yeah, they could.
Whoa.
So that's why like there's certain decks. Like for example, Mike, who did the podcast with me for most of its existence, only recently it's been just me. But like he was in a tournament where he runs this one card, it's a 4 of, and he really realistically needs to see it on turn 2. But he just needs to see it. And I think like 2 of them were at the bottom of his deck and 2 were in his life, like the last 2 life.
Oh man.
And he just never drew them. And he was playing a matchup he should have won. And he was in game 3 of a big regional. And like he needed to win that game. And he like had like everything was set up perfect. He just didn't find that one card. For those listening that know the game, he was looking for, I think it was, Mike can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was Objection, and he was playing Shenjita, for those of you that follow the game. But
so that's the thing that I've been trying to figure out about the game. You kept pointing out like that they have like the deck that they're playing is like is a character, which is why I was like, are you buying decks as a whole? But so what is the significance of like the main character, and then is the rest of their deck something that they can build naturally?
yeah, so there's one card that's always on the table when you start the game, and that's your leader card. And your leader card is a character. So, and that leader card typically, not always, but it typically has an effect that is strong enough that you can start trying to base some of your strategies around it. So typically you kind of, when you're building your deck, you're also choosing a leader that synergizes with your deck. So whenever you see that leader, I know immediately, although I don't know specifically what 50 cards you chose, I know, okay, that deck is very aggressive. That leader is a very aggressive leader, so I know you're probably going to be really pushing me right from the start of the game. Or I know, okay, this leader, it's more defensive. It's like a control style. So I know that you're going for like a late game finish, and you can start picking up on things. So like when you saw the tail of the tape from the World Tournament, it wasn't like I knew those people's deck lists. We just went, okay, these are the leaders they're playing. So if I know I mean, technically I knew their deck list, but I wasn't going to look through every one to do that.
For sure.
But if I know your leader, I know in general, what the pros and cons are of that deck. I might not know what cards you teched in or what, little spice you threw in there. But I know that, okay, this is what this deck does. This is what this deck doesn't do well. And then how does that pair against this other deck you're going against? Because there are matchups where it's like, if I play this deck, I'm probably going to lose.
Okay. Man, I mean, it sounds like a really cool card game that like, I do really like the fact that it is like skill based. And it seems like there's a lot of things in place to like, so it's not completely random on either end of the table. You're like, okay, I have an idea on what they're going for. It's like a card game, but like chess. You can start to kind of see what they're going towards, what they're like what their strategy is, and try to think ahead.
There's always that luck or variance to anything you do with any card game. I'm always drawn to card games that lower that variance as much as possible, because I think that's more fun. I don't think it's as fun to go gamble and roll dice and see who. Although I do like to gamble, I don't think. bad example, but no, like. All right, even like if I'm playing roulette, right? Like there's a strat. Like I have a strategy. It's not just pick a number, right? Like there's strategies you can use if you're playing that game. But obviously there's like a fairly high variance. Whereas with Dragon Ball, you can, when you're playing decks, skill is much more important than variance. Like if you're an elite, like high level competitive player, you can probably beat any beginner player with any deck. It could be a matchup that you win 95 times out of 5, and you play the deck that only wins 5 times, you probably just flip the odds because of your skill.
Your knowledge.
Yeah.
That is cool. Wow.
Yeah. So that's neat. But I mean, at a high competitive level, I think variance increases, because if we're both playing perfectly, now a lot of the pros and cons mean a lot more.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like if you guys are both playing your strategy perfectly, it's like, okay, but who is, I guess, like leaning into their strategy better,
right?
And preparing
or the
for
opposite.
the next move.
Sometimes what separates some of the elite players, I think, from great players is they know when to pivot or take a line that isn't the norm.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's a good take.
This feels a lot like fighting games. So like I'm really big into things like Street Fighter and Tekken and stuff like that. And your point of like once you get to like the elite levels of things like the biggest tournament in North America is called Evo Evolution, and it's in Vegas every year, and it is literally anyone can come to this tournament if you think you're hot shit. Like anyone can come and catch hands. And like you see the same like 16, 32 people like in top 32.
Same way in Dragon Ball. Yep.
And it's just like, I mean, like at a certain point, like your character doesn't matter, especially in like pools. Like, but once you start getting to, top 8, top 32, top 16, top 8, like you start seeing the same characters over and over again. And the coolest thing ever is when someone like loses a game and then switches to a character no one knew they could play. And like does that like ever happen? Like can you like switch out your leader in Dragon Ball or anything like that? Can you like Tekken like sub? It's like a side deck?
There's a side deck.
Okay.
Yeah. But the side deck can't have a leader card.
Okay.
So you are tied to the leader you choose for the entirety of a tournament.
Whoa. Okay.
You're tied to the deck you chose. Like you can't change your deck list at all. You do have a 15 card side deck in best of 3 games. So after game 1, I can side in cards from my side deck into my main deck, and that way I can try and improve against certain matchups. Like for example, right now there's a hand destruction deck that's very strong. So as that deck plays, it's taking cards out of your hand to take away your resources, and it discards them. So in my side deck, I'm probably going to have cards that help me draw more. That way I can kind of counter their strategy. But I have to side in as many cards as I side out, and I always have to start every game 1 with my same list of 50.
What fascinates me about card games over like I guess just like video games. I feel like in video games you have physical there's calculations and there's ways to figure out like, okay, if this happens, this will happen. But in card games, I feel like there's so much nuance and unexpected like that right there. At what point in the stages of creating this card game did they come up with that as like, and why? What was the like thing they were trying to fix? Was that something that they made whenever the game initially came out? Was that something that like came as tournaments happened and they were like, oh, we're learning like
with side decks?
Yeah,
that's always been. It's pretty. That's honestly
common.
Yeah, it's very common for card games.
Shows how much I know about this world. It's just like I love how everything is so thought out. It seems like every single thing that could happen is like, oh yeah, there's an explanation for that. And there's a way around it.
I really do like the idea of like your health being cards, and I feel like I know exactly what about Magic pissed them off so much that they changed that. Like someone got land screwed one too many times.
Yeah,
so it's like, fuck this. I am not doing this anymore. This is bullshit.
Yeah. I think that's one of the really cool things of Dragon Ball. There's just so many. There's a lot of similarities to a lot of games, and then there's also things that make it unique to its own. So it has like a nice spread.
It's a good balance.
Yeah, it has a good balance, and like I said, it's just the overall. I mean, Magic's also a very skill intensive game. Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think is as skill intensive, although there is skill involved. I don't know.
Hey man, it takes a lot of skill to putting your credit card info.
Yeah.
TCG player. It's a very, very.
I get my ass beat every time. I've only played it a couple of times, but like I'm not good.
I talk this much shit, but I'm probably gonna download Duel Links later. Because now
Duel Links is fire, bro. I played that for a while. That game is fun.
So as somebody who also does a podcast, I figure that there was something that you saw, like an opportunity, a hole, something that was missing that led you to making this podcast.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that moment where you were like, this needs to be a thing and I can do that?
Oh, that's a good question. So
thank you.
it is.
I did my job.
Good job. All right. So this is going to be like a multi-part answer here.
What we like.
The first part of it, was Mike. Mike's one of my best friends. We always play, right? He's always at my house. We're always playing cards. We're always hanging out. He's been to Thanksgiving dinners at my family's house. Like we're always hanging out. And
that's cute as fuck.
Yeah, you know. But anyways, when we hang out, the point of that was when we hang out, we talk about Dragon Ball like constantly. And then we had always talked about doing a podcast, but for fantasy football. We're probably still going to do it one day.
Totally forgot about that era.
Oh, I'm still in that era. I still play. I'm addicted to fantasy football. I spend way too much time on it, but that's another story. So, but we've always talked about doing a podcast for it because we're both pretty good at it. And one night we were just like doing what we usually do, playing cards, and then we had like an hour-long conversation about this deck. And I was like, if we just recorded that, we just made a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah. And I was like, we should just do a Dragon Ball podcast. And he was like, yeah, all right. And then we did it. Like that was pretty much it. We were like, yeah, that's perfect. But the funny thing was, to answer the next part of your question, is where the opportunity was, is podcasting hadn't been explored much in Dragon Ball when we started. There was one other show, shout out to the Scouter Report. They were probably like the first official.
Also a pretty cool name.
Right.
It is a cool name. Yeah. They were like the first like professionally produced podcast. It wasn't just like some dude talking into his phone, uploading it on like, whatever random website and just calling it a day.
r/Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Like these people really put their time in and like had nice equipment, had nice microphones. You could tell they worked on it really hard, and they were good. There was 4 guys and they vibed really well, but they had stopped, and then no one really stepped up to have the next podcast. And then even twofold, we were at a point in the community where the community sucked. Like the Dragon Ball community, personally, people might think differently. I thought the community was terrible. It got to a point where I was like, I just want to go to this event, find my friends, hang out, and that's it. And like,
What was so bad about it?
Online, it was really toxic. All the communities basically were based in Facebook groups, and you know how Facebook groups get.
Man.
Well,
And they were just like so toxic. And I mean, like it would drive new players away. Like you couldn't really have like a real conversation with someone. Everything had to be a flex. It was like, oh man, I love this deck. Be like, yeah, you suck. I beat that deck every time. I'm just, bro, who cares? And like, I don't know. The groups were just really, really toxic. People were not very kind to each other, and there was no actual sense of community other than the page just being called a community page. And I mean, it is moderated. They do their best, but it's huge. Like there's like, I don't know how many people, 20, 30,000 people in the group. How are you really going to moderate everything that somebody says? And then how much of a dictator are you going to be to what people can say? So I was like, we have an opportunity, one, to fit into the podcast space. We've always wanted to do a podcast. And if it hits, we have an opportunity to make our own community, right? We have an opportunity to make our own community with like-minded individuals like us that just want to grow and get better at the game and do this cool thing and share this passion that we have for this hobby. And we were like, all right, well, let's go for it. And shortly after the podcast started, we ended up making a Discord, and then that blew up, and kind of everything started to come to fruition.
So, and now the Discord is like, how many people are in there now?
We're 800 some.
Whoa.
fuck.
Okay. Whenever I joined in, it was under 500.
Yeah.
So holy shit, wow.
Yeah, we're growing pretty rapidly. We're
How long has the Discord been, I guess, open as long as the podcast has been going?
No, not as long. It definitely, we waited a good few months before we started the Discord. I don't remember when. I want probably maybe 7-8 months ago we started the Discord.
So wow, 800 in well under a year.
Yeah.
And I mean, that just goes to show, like, the opportunity that you saw was absolutely valid. Like, it was there. There are people that needed a community, not only needed like what you could create, but also like value the show that you're making and everything, because they're like, this is the community that they're going to choose instead of like Facebook groups or whatever.
Exactly. It's not, I don't like to refer to it as like my Discord, because this is something that we've all built. Like all the people who participate regularly in the Discord is something that we've like all built together. And I regularly, and I have like a we call them Commie House Security, our moderators.
I love it. That's awesome.
We have names for everything. But yeah, we all take a lot of feedback from the community. And when people want to do stuff, usually the answer is yes, because why would I say no to something that the community has, I hit the button, like I hit create and like open the Discord and I put the link out there. I mean, I make the podcast, right? Like I make the podcast, but the community is really made by the community. And that's really like the forefront of what what we kind of put out there is this community that we've made. So yeah, I don't know. It just kind of built itself in a way.
Was the tournament more of a community? Was it like a thing that the community was just like, we want to have a tournament? Were you just like, let's have a tournament?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, I wanted to just run a tournament, but the community was also asking for tournaments. We do little weekly ones. That was another thing that the community wanted, but those have been dying down a little bit, so we're looking at restructuring them a bit. But yeah, the world tournament that we ran, that was a lot influenced by the community. And I put a lot of feelers out there like, hey, if we did this, would you want to do it? Because everyone says, no, I'm not going to, force it.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that I'm in a bunch of different Discords, and you can always see when somebody's sharing their screen on like the little bubble.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that not active on yours. There are always games happening in your Discord.
Oh yeah, all the time.
the community
really?
Discord.
Oh yeah, people play it
constantly.
all the time. When I used to work till like 3 a.m., I get off work and I would play games with people. I watch people playing games. The other night I was playing at 3 a.m. and there was 6 people in a chat with me.
People just hanging out,
Yeah.
It's all I've ever dreamed of with like getting like a video game and like having like a group of people that I can play with. But like so much better than I could have ever imagined.
Well, the really cool thing is that it is heavily moderated.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is we don't moderate really what people say. You can say whatever you want, freedom of speech, right? Say whatever you want, but there's consequences to your actions if you're just going to be a jerk.
Yeah.
So if you're just going to come in and be a jerk, then you're just going to get banned. I don't like warnings. That was something when I ran a martial arts school, when I taught a lot of kids, I didn't like giving them warnings either. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tyler was there, but I would just tell them, hey, if you're going to misbehave, we're never playing a game again. And they'd be like, oh. And they thought I was joking one time. And they misbehaved. I said, okay, we're not playing a game for the rest of our summer camp. We didn't play a game for the rest of summer. They thought I was kidding. We didn't play another game. But
So you think I'm not real?
Yeah, but
I'm about this. What's up?
But that's the thing. It's like, if you're going to be a jerk, I don't need to warn you. You're just a jerk. So
Yeah, you
you're
should
gone.
know.
Yeah, so you're gone. Or if you're a cheater, you're just a cheater. I don't want you in my community. If you're a thief, I don't want you in my I don't need to say, "Hey man, I know you cheated, but are you going to do it again?" That sounds stupid.
You know you're not supposed to do that, right?
What is a cheater? They're like, "I'll never do it again, bro." Oh, okay, you can stay. Hell no, get out, bro. Don't come in. Or if you're going to be a jerk and put people down, don't come in. And luckily, we haven't really banned many people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's because you draw like-minded people. Usually when you're fully involved in the community, you tend to draw in people kind of similar to you. And that's pretty much what happened. I mean, we've had to ban people, unfortunately. It just happens. But overall...
Do you find that users, I guess the best word I have is self-policing, where it's just like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're just keeping each
Everybody
other in check.
Everyone that's ever been banned,
yeah.
everyone was like, oh, I figured that was going to happen. And like, oh, thank you. We wanted him out.
Hell yeah.
Or I've had people message me. They're like, hey, what's going on with this person? We'll look into it. And sometimes that person gets banned because it's like, why were you being a jerk to literally every single person you've interacted with in the Discord?
So what have you done marketing-wise besides just obviously have like a really, really good topic that clearly people wanted? But do you go to tournaments and give out cards? Do you like post on social media in a different way? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. So for marketing, so for the podcast itself, it's kind of like a full circle kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like the podcast funnels into the Discord kind of funnels people back into the podcast. So it's kind of like a full kind of circle type of deal. And then the Discord's cool because it's 840 people who join because they want to be in our community. So typically anything we want to push, it's not forced marketing, where I have to cram it down people's throats. I can just make an announcement and it's people who genuinely want to see it. So I would say, I'll start with the podcast. With promoting the podcast, I posted in all the Facebook groups that I don't like.
Fair enough. You said, hey, I'm going to make a better community.
Yeah.
Man.
Well,
I'm going to be a part of this.
It's funny, though, because when people join from the Facebook, when I finally get them to listen, they're like, yo, I was looking for this. We're all, everyone's in the Facebook group because, of course, you're going to be in the primary group for Dragon Ball. But a lot of people don't like to talk in there. They don't like to give takes or anything because you're going to interact with all these people they don't know that are cruel or whatever. But when I put that out there, they're like, okay, what's this about? And then they come in. So I do post in as many of the Facebook groups as I can find because it's free. It's free marketing. Why wouldn't you? And it's your target market. They handpick them for you. Like you don't have to go on and do some crazy, advertising and pick different regions and demographics and different things. It's, these groups have already put everyone who like Dragon Ball, who like the card game into this place. I can just push it out to you.
So are you just posting like, hey, I have a podcast about this. Here's an episode. Come check it out.
Yeah. So each week, usually there's like a topic. So I'll like say like, hey, today, I had so-and-so on the show. Since Mike left the show, I bring on a special guest usually. So it ranges from really large collectors to some of like the best competitive players to even just casual players who just enjoy the game, but maybe they have a following or they're a content creator themselves. But yeah, I just post and I'll say like, hey, this is, we have this episode. Like recently I did one with Richard Zapp, who a lot of people really like in the community. He's a great competitive player. And we did an advanced deck building episode. We did one a long time ago called Deck Building 101, and this was supposed to be like the next one. Like if you're in college, this is like 201.
Yeah.
And we threw that out there, and I was like, hey, we're expanding on our old episode. If you're getting ready for Nats and you want to work on your decks, this is a great episode for you. And then I always plug the Discord too. And be like, if you want a community to join, feel free to jump in our Discord. So I'll just, post it like that, and then I'll tag that person so that way their friends see. And then usually I'll go in the Discord. We have a leveling system where basically as you interact in the Discord and the community, you actually gain levels. And then as you gain levels, it unlocks perks of the Discord that are locked features. So usually when I make a post, I say, hey, XP to whoever likes and comments. And then
nice.
I also go down each time someone does it. So the first person I can comment, I'm like 1,000 XP. Next person's like 900. Next person 800. And it starts going down. So everyone's like, oh shit, let me get on here and go
that is cool.
go like and comment. And they like it because they get XP. They also, like I said, we're all part of the community together. So it helps to promote our community. And then it helps to increase publicity because of stupid Facebook algorithms that if no one likes your post, no one sees it. So it helps to gain exposure that way. So I do that. And then I post in the subreddit for Dragon Ball, though that subreddit isn't too popular, but for some reason they really don't like the podcast. I don't know why. I always get downvoted, but I still post it. Whatever.
I think that's just Reddit being Reddit. Reddit always has a sort of a weird like reaction to people promoting things.
Yeah, exactly. I try and title it different ways to see like how it works, and very rarely though do I get upvotes. Whatever. But I'll post there, and I'm trying to think if I do anything else about the podcast. That's probably it. Mm-hmm. That's probably all I do for the most part. And then I do have like physical marketing, like you talked about. So I run a store online. This will be a nice tidbit to listeners of the podcast. Hermit Style is officially a legal entity. I opened a corporation.
Congratulations!
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
Didn't expect that.
Sick.
My favorite thing is how it abruptly starts and abruptly stops. There's no fade or anything.
But yeah, so I started that just recently. I haven't gone public with that information yet, but there it is. So I've been selling a lot of cards online, and I decided to open up my own store. So the next goal is hopefully I get a distributorship and I can actually start offering products to the community.
Can I ask one quick question? Because I think pretty much everyone in LOWBAT. Oh, cheers! Facts. Everyone in LOWBAT is like in love with the idea of just saying fuck this job. I'm doing this.
LOWBAT,
I'm doing LOWBAT for like full time, and that's just gonna be my shit.
Yeah.
And it's gonna sustain me. And I do think we are going to get there. We are going to get there.
Yeah, you will.
But right now we're just not yet. And I want to know, how did it feel when you like had like that realization, like, I don't have to really go to work anymore. Like I can just do what I like to do every day. It was making money. It's sick.
It was extra weird for me. I was in a really bad car accident, and I ended up not being able to work. I was like real messed up from it. I got hit like head on by a truck that was going 45 miles an hour, and I was in the hospital, and then I was at home pretty much like a potato. I couldn't do anything for like months. I couldn't even play Dragon Ball.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I tried against doctor's orders to play Dragon Ball, and that was not smart. Did not work. I literally like couldn't think. They were like, "Yeah, you got to try not to think," because
Oh my god.
and like it sucked.
Use 0 brain power for 4 months.
Yeah. Like literally, they said that you have to be on brain rest. So like you pretty much like have like low light, like you sit on the couch and just like sleep and just chill. So that sucked. And then I was, obviously I couldn't work for quite a while. I couldn't work for months, and I ended up getting to a point where I had to make a decision because I was still having really bad double vision, but my doctor was saying like, well, you can return to work, but you have to wear an eye patch, and like, which I mean that's fine, but my issue wasn't wearing the eye patch. My issue was like I'm not all the way healed.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if I really want to jeopardize my health by looking at a screen all day, and so I had to make the very tough decision to say, okay, I'm just gonna quit. And then after I quit, I had to figure out like what I was gonna do. And the plan was always just go back to work once I'm like actually 100%.
Yeah.
Right? But during that period, I started selling a lot of my cards, and I was like, wow, this is actually kind of lucrative. And as I was selling, I was like, man, I think maybe I can just like open a card shop and like actually like just do it, like go all the way with it, So I just said, screw it recently and open up the corporation. And now I'm trying to get my distributorship so I can just sell products. But it was a great feeling when I decided to do it.
Do you have brick and mortar plans?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Right now, all online. I don't see really the point for overhead.
Do you like? I haven't been to like an honest to God card shop in years.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember the last time I went to like a card game store.
Right.
Do you? Is someone like you've obviously gone way more than I have. Like, are people like excited to go to card shops anymore?
Oh, yeah.
Like, is that still really?
Oh yeah, it's still
Okay.
a thing. Yeah, like all the local shops. So we get a bunch of people. We have a bunch of people playing Dragon Ball. We play every Sunday. No, it's still a thing. I mean, it's been kind of weird because of COVID, right? Like,
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, like outside of that, maybe that's just me not being, I don't know. So
oh no, people still go
like
out and play.
into it.
Yeah, no, people still go out and play. They still pack it out.
I have a thought, I guess, of a what I feel like from an outsider's perspective, looking at the way that like just I guess marketing has trended over the last couple of years. A way that I won't say it on the podcast in case if this is something that you like actually were interested in moving towards that you already thought of, but I'm interested in the tournament aspect of it as well because we just did a tournament with you,
Right.
and that was all online, which my understanding is that was both a decision based on who you could get on and also because of COVID and like trying to be as safe as possible, and I noticed it didn't say annual or anything on it, like first annual, and I was like, okay, I wonder what do you want to do with this? Is this a brand that you're looking to expand upon and do more often?
As far as just tournaments specifically?
Yeah, like running your own tournament.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I plan on doing them. Tournaments are never like big. I mean, unless you're running. I mean, I guess there's money in it if they're
For like regionals or
like
nationals.
like a huge regional. Like you get the thing from Bandai. There might be more money, but tournaments in general, like even the local card shops that run like your local tournament every Sunday, that they don't make much money from that. Most of all of that goes back to the players. I think I think really the marketing behind it is getting players into your store, right?
Yeah.
So if they're like in your store playing, or like in my case in my Discord playing, I can then be like, hey, I the goal is to say, hey, I now can offer products to all of you, right? And I can offer them at a low price because there's a really right now in the trading card game world across almost all games, there's a really high markup above retail where stores are just overcharging people like crazy.
I'm sure.
So that's another opportunity where I'm hopefully going to be able to come in and say, hey, I can give you an honest price. I'm not going to overcharge you. I'm not going to say, okay, just because I know I can sell this for over $40 above what Bandai recommended all stores sell their product for, I can just actually sell it for what
it's
it
worth.
was intended, what it was worth. Yeah. So that's ultimately the goal, is to provide essentially an honest price for my community.
Okay. So you look at these types of things, tournaments, either online or in person, as basically marketing for your other ventures, being Discord, podcast, and
I think
selling
it's
cards.
I mean,
I
I
would
think
see
that's like
tournament-
secondary
excuse me.
effect. I think the tournaments enhance the community.
I do.
That's
see
the
that.
primary thing that the tournaments do is
Okay.
they enhance the community, and then the secondary effect is, I mean, yeah, it is a way to get people in and say, hey, you know, this is what I do, and you can also buy from me if you choose to.
Yeah.
But that's not I don't want to come across as that's the intent, right?
Well,
because
everything people always have this sour opinion on like I don't like getting the bag, like
Right.
trying to market yourself.
Right.
But the only reason why you have a community is because of the product you make and how well it's been marketed.
Right.
As well as the outside perspectives of like it was something that was needed that people wanted. You provided a service that everybody wanted anyways. But the more that you market yourself, the bigger it gets and the better the community gets.
oh yeah,
So it's like people that look down on the idea of you going and doing things that are like trying to get your name out there and trying to secure more money. That's not a bad thing as long as you're doing it like reasonably, like how you're saying. You creating this card business is not only because you see people screwing people over, but it's like it's a way to fund everything else and let you live in this world. Like I don't
Right.
think there's anything wrong with that.
no, I don't think so either. I don't think so at all. It's more there just has to be that opening. I think you have to find that opportunity where it's not forced, right? Like everything is a byproduct of the next. Like it you know, it's opened up the doors to where, okay, I've built this community, right? What are more ways I can give back? I can't really do more to give back unless I start doing something that generates revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I think that's the way
but
to
in
look at it.
generating that revenue, it's still a way to give back because I'm saying, hey, I can also offer you, like I said, these products instead of going and paying $130 for a box. I can charge you way, way, way less.
Mm-hmm.
Retail, I think, is $100, and I don't even know if I would charge retail. I might be able to undercut that price too. I probably will.
Man.
So
Hell
I
yeah.
think that's what's really cool though. And like I was gonna say, and that's my B. I didn't mean to like try to interrupt both of you
You're good.
in your thing. The tournaments themselves are totally more of a community thing. I see it the same way with in other avenues like fighting games and things like that. Like the tournaments that happen every week is literally just so you can like hang out with your friends and just get better. It's just mad fun that way. And also I don't think, to your point, you were saying that people have like this this sour taste, the stigma against like, you know, getting the bag, you know, doing what
it's
you have
gotten
to
better
do.
for sure, but
I think
still
I think the big thing is people don't like being sold to, if that makes sense.
sure.
Yeah.
Like I was liking it to like car salesmen. Where like if you go to a car dealership, it's always just like how many hoops
Yeah,
am I gonna have to go-
right.
how many hoops am I gonna have
Yeah.
to go through in order to like just get the information that I want. And I think it's really cool that like you are basically being the quote unquote honest car salesman of
Right.
of you know your car game.
Well,
Like,
I think it's chasing the car, not the money, right? Like I think if your primary goal is chasing the bag, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Like if you're just in it for money, then why are you in it? Like we're in it for this passion we have for building this great community, and we're finding more ways that we can give back to that community. So if your primary focus is enriching the community, I think that's a pathway to success.
It definitely seems like the people that are in your community already understand the moves that you make are for the betterment of the community and not for the betterment of just you.
Right.
Because like obviously like you had this job that you were working that was like keeping things steady, but you have way more creative freedom and like you're living in the world of the card game more now versus the distraction of a regular 9 to 5 or you're working late. But you get my point. like you're now outside of that, and it's like I get to spend more time trying to think about innovation and ways to like improve this community, expand this community versus being distracted all day, and it's getting like your last bit of energy after working a long day.
Yeah. No. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
I wanna. Are you're not gonna eat the cookie? You know.
Oh, I forgot I had the cookie.
I've
Wow.
been looking at it this entire time.
I
just
thought
like,
I
yes,
thought
I'll put
about
it in.
not addressing it,
I have
and then
got
I
the
wanted
candy
the, I
cookie
wanted
for the listeners.
I wanted all the comments to be like, "What's up with the cookie?" Like
Bro,
we just never address it.
All right. I love cookies. It is well known I love cookies. I always have cookies. Panera candy cookies are one of the best cookies ever created, actually.
Not a sponsor.
Not yet.
Should be. If you're listening, Panera. But yeah, I typically always have a cookie. So, I had to have this cookie on stream. So here we go. First bite.
Oh, that had a little bit of a crunch to it too.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's
Out of 10, how are you feeling right now, Jimmy?
That was a good candy cookie.
Okay.
yeah.
That's a good one.
What is
Sometimes
it
you get
called? Candy
unlucky.
cookie. What kind of is it? Isn't it just
Like
M&Ms?
M&Ms. Yeah, but not branded.
Oh, they're not. They make their own.
Because not a sponsor.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Panera couldn't secure that that licensing,
The
that M&M sponsorship.
That'd
Damn.
be nuts.
Panera on the. Anyway, it's not going to talk trash about Panera. Hey, Panera,
So
hit
one
us up.
dumb question about sponsors. I mean, obviously outside of like, Namco Bandai, what like sponsorships would you like to entertain for like
Oh,
tournaments
that's a good
and just
question.
for like the Discord and what you got going on?
So I actually just announced our first competitive team. There's now the Hermit style team, and
Hey.
yeah, it's pretty cool. We have an A team and a B team.
You didn't do it. There's a button. that
Yours
makes
is
that sound.
perfect. Yours is perfect. It's okay.
You just didn't-
But we have an A team and a B team.
There it is. Thank you.
There we go. And yeah, so one of the things that I really want to do is get a sponsorship to help them too, because a sponsorship directly helps teams. So like if I can get a sponsorship through someone like Ultimate Guard or Dragon Shield or someone that makes like card sleeves, deck boxes, things like that, I can then supply my team with things too to help them. So like companies like that I'm looking into for sponsorships. There's a really cool company that makes these custom deck boxes that are my favorite. They're actually a little bit of a smaller company compared to others. So they're one of the first actually on my list to reach out to once we hit a certain point. I don't feel like we're big enough yet, but we'll get there. And then when we hit that point, I want to reach out to them and see if they would do like some kind of collab and like a Master Roshi inspired deck box with some Hermit style branding on it would be pretty cool. But yeah, sponsorships like that are primarily what I would probably look into.
Ones that can give you equipment over just like I guess like financial support.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Would you entertain a Panera sponsorship?
Oh, 100%.
For the
That's only
cookies?
for me. That is the one thing I'll do. For
Cookies
me.
nonstop.
Sorry, that's not for the community.
So are you saying that is that like top tier? That's the
Oh,
cookie.
this is a top tier cookie.
Is that the cookie?
Oh, the cookie? I don't know. That's hard to answer.
It's kind of on the spot.
There's a lot of cookies out there.
I'd still
guess it's
maintain that Insomnia cookies they put crack inside of the cookie dough.
They're good, but they're not my favorite. They're not my favorite.
Just like cards, I also don't know a lot about cookies.
We'll go to
I really
a
don't
farm.
eat a lot of.
That's another podcast.
We will drive to Norfolk one.
Oh, that's the spot that's like open super late, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I've tried.
We can go right now.
I have no money.
I'll spot you.
we can talk about that once we wrap up. Last kind of question, I guess. I'm curious about. Wow, this is like. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's all leaning. Anyways, what's your next step? What's the just growing? Are you just focusing on growing the Discord and your team, or is there like another thing on the horizon that you're like working towards making?
So right now, I mean, there's always the next step of like, we want to get more, right? So like we want Discord bigger, podcast, more downloads. That's like always a step. So that's not really a good answer, but, well, I mean, part of it is getting a distributorship. If I can get a distributor to work with me to get me Dragon Ball product, that would be like a huge step, which I'm currently in the process of doing. So hopefully I get approved. And then the other big next step is we're starting to push YouTube now. I don't really want to post my podcasts on YouTube. That's mainly because I would like my YouTube channel to funnel into my podcast and just have like essentially like two different
streams, I guess.
yeah,
is the word.
two different streams, two different funnels, right? So the YouTube more short form content, and then that short form content would always promote the weekly podcast, which is like the long form audio only content.
Clips too.
Yeah, clips are good. I need to start doing clips. I think we're gonna do things like bi-weekly. We're gonna do we're calling them an evening with Hermit style.
If there isn't a fire somewhere, like it has to be by a fireplace, or there has to be a candle or something.
Oh yeah, you know what? I could actually
Like in a robe.
I can.
Like
oh,
a
all
whole
right.
thing.
So Armando on my team. Shout out to Armando. He's considered to be one of the best players in Canada, and he's notorious for being on YouTube videos in a robe. So I think we need to bring that, and then I will sit by the fireplace.
Yep, there it is. An
Oh,
evening
man.
with
Yep.
There's got to be
Yep.
like a pelt on the floor. I don't know
Yeah.
of what yet, but there has to be a pelt.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. But so the next step is growing the YouTube channel. We want to hit 1,000 subscribers. So
It is like, honestly like as I was asking the question, I was like, you already have a lot. You just did your first like real world tournament. You have you just created a business
Right.
that you were doing on the side is now a full business.
Yeah.
The YouTube. and you have
Congratulations
all
to
this
that
stuff.
again. That shit
Thanks.
is wild.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know. That's really, really impressive. So yeah, I mean, is there anything that we didn't hit on that you wanted to talk about? Is there any questions you had for us or anything else you wanted to plug?
I don't think so. I think, well, the only other thing I was going to say is back to your marketing question. I think we got off topic.
Probably.
The only thing I do for physical marketing is I have a business card that's actually a Dragon Ball token that you can use in the game. They were the ones that were on stream in the World Tournament. I think I
Those
left
are
some
so
here.
cool. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you did. There's a
Yeah, but so the cool part about that though is I send one of the cardboard version ones with every order.
mm-hmm.
So every single order has Hermit Style Podcast on it, has my branding, and has a QR code to join the Discord, listen to the podcast, go on the YouTube channel. So that's pretty cool. It hasn't caught as much stream as I wanted it to, as far as like actually getting the QR code clicks, but hopefully it'll get there. But that's on all the tokens, so I do that, and that's probably the only other thing I didn't mention that I do for marketing, aside from in the Discord. I also do a thing where people can subscribe to roles. I don't know if you've been in Discords where they use the everyone tag all the time, and it's like painful, and everyone hates it. So I hate it too. So I'm like, and I think this is another example of not forcing your content onto people. I'm in Discords where every time they post a video, it's at everyone, and I'm like, dog, I don't want to be tagged every day. When you post your video, I'm not going to watch. Like, let's be real,
care about that.
right? But if I want to be notified, then I should be able to sign up for it. So I have like little reaction roles called Hermit Heads. So if you want to be a Hermit Head, you react to Master Roshi's post. Master Roshi is a bot in the Discord.
I've seen that.
You can react to his post and get the tag Hermit Head. So whenever I do something about Hermit Style, I tag at Hermit Heads because I know that they actually want the notification. So that's
it's so
another
well
thing I
laid
do.
out.
Yeah, we've put a lot of time into it. I have to shout out the Kami House security team. They helped me a lot. Jay, John, you guys know them as well. Jay is Jay in the Discord, but John's nameless. Larry, who's famously known as Pac-Man, he was on the stream. Brant, who's Nuke and Foobs, and Bruce, who Zembutai. They all helped me a lot with the Discord and moderating and helping implement things like that. But yeah,
shout outs to
put a lot of
every
time.
moderator that like keeps every online community actually in check.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
important.
That's so much work.
It's so tough, but yeah. So, but other than that, no, I don't think I have any other questions. This was really fun.
Appreciate it.
It was weird being not the host, and I enjoyed being able to relax and not have to.
I just
I have to
recently
keep the
did
show
my
going.
first being a guest on another podcast, and it was really weird.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, isn't it?
The dude, amazing. No, nothing against him or his podcast at all. It was just like being on the other end of the table was very interesting. So I understand completely.
Yeah, no, it was nice. You got LOWBAT's insane. Like, I don't know, y'all's quality is like next level. I tell this to everybody. Like, LOWBAT quality beats everybody.
That was the intention. So
They all have the most professional stuff ever. It was wild. Like, y'all are gonna blow up. There's no way you don't, because your quality is too, like, it beats everybody else. There's no way you don't like make it big. I don't know how you wouldn't.
So Bandai,
Yeah, it's great.
like, hit us up.
I don't know how to take compliments. I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, y'all do a great job. And then, but yeah, so shout out to you guys. Thank you for having me on. And I have to plug all my stuff. I don't know if you guys can throw a link in like the description or anything,
Of course.
but if you can, there'd be like a link to join the Discord and stuff like that. Feel free to join. Some people have trouble joining on if you have like a 10-year-old Android phone. Apparently that is a thing that it is difficult to join Discords that I've
Upgrade.
gotten complaints about.
iPhone gang.
I apologize. I'm not Discord. I can't help you.
Yeah, right.
You have to get on a computer to join if that is your case. Other than that, everyone can join. So yeah, jump in the Discord. It's the best place to be for Dragon Ball. And if you do need cards, I do have a TCG Player store. It is called Hermit Style. And feel free to grab cards. I think I right now have about 13,000 in inventory, and I'm still adding.
God, whoa. That was not the number I was anticipating.
I have a lot more inventory than that. It just takes time to put them all in. I'm at around 30,000 in real life of inventory to have, but I think there's about 13,000 in there right now. So if you need cards, I'm there. There's actually a link in the Discord. If you're going to buy cards from anyone, please use my link. I'm an affiliate with TCG Player, so even if you don't buy from my store, it actually helps.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but maybe I don't have the card, it actually will still help the podcast if you use my link. As long as you use my affiliate link and you buy anything, we get a little bit of a kickback. So,
hell yeah, yeah. Anything Dragon Ball,
or anything Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, any cards.
I didn't know you. Okay, fuck yeah. So anything of any of those worlds that you're interested in, got a podcast, got a Discord, a whole community based around it. So definitely check all of that out. And you can go ahead and hit there it is.
Oh baby,
right. Yeah, there's a little bit of music that plays us out.
Real
yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for being here. And we will see you guys next week probably.